Okay, next video we just went over a function that I wrote. Hopefully it makes some kind of sense to you, and hopefully you've had some experience with arrays, and if not, definitely send me a message and I can make some more videos. Okay, then SmartFox on join room error. This is a function that they wrote in case there's an error when you're joining a room. And then there's one here called SmartFox on user enter room. Handles a new user entering the room. So you've entered the chat room and all of a sudden a new user enters. This is the handler, right? This function is an event handler, and this function will execute if that event happens. So some user enters the room. And so I put some stuff here, and because basically when a new user enters the room, we need to get their avatar details, right? We want to get their customized hair, eyes, ears. So basically the first thing I did here was, this is my line of code right here, which was, I'm going to comment here and put some $signs so I know that that's mine. So I'm going to get the data. So I wrote a function called getData that will, or I didn't write the function getData, but I modified it. It's down at the bottom of the code here. But we're going to get the data, which is going to go talk to the server side script, and it's going to go get the data out of the MySQL database. So we'll look at the getData function. It's down at the bottom later, right? But suffice it to say, that's what it's going to do. And then let's see, what else did I do? I said down here, they say the username of the user that entered the room, right? Variable username is a string, user.getName. So they can call this function within this built-in SmartFox handler that they wrote. They can get the name, right? It's something they can do because they wrote it that way. So there's a username here, and then what I did was I put that username into another variable called entered user, right? And I also made my own variable called entered_MC. There's entered_user, entered_MC, and I made it equal to the movie clip. Okay, and the movie clip is the movie clip that they've used for the avatar for the new user, right? So once again, they say variable MC, it's going to be a movie clip. Avatar MC, attach a movie from the library called avatar, give it a new name of avatar underscore plus the user ID number, and put it at the level of user ID in stacking order, right? And I wanted to save those variables, so I'm not sure if I used them or not. Then I did some tests to make sure that it was working by outputting it to my dynamic text box on the stage. Then you'll see here that at the bottom I wrote another hack, and I said myInterval2. Before we saw myInterval, this one's called myInterval2 equals set an interval and call myFunction2, which is a new function that I wrote to execute in 1 second, right? So we'll look at that later. And then outside of the function, this main function ends right here, and then you'll see here there's the variable enter user, and I put it outside of the function on the main timeline, right, so that these variables are available to all of the functions in the movie, right? So now they have more availability. And then here's my function 2, which once again loops through some users, right? It loops through my users, the length of my users, and if entered user equals my user. So I loop through all of the users in an array, and if the entered user equals the user in the array, then we're going to say entered MC, that movie clip, and change the pieces to the user's data. And so this is the way that I say, okay, loop through all of the users, right? And then when you find the entered user, then find his or her data and then change their movies, and then clear the interval. So I probably could have used the other function to do this, but I wrote a whole new function to do it because I wanted to separate them for this scenario. And this scenario is a user entering the room. You're already in the room, and then a user enters the room. The function ends right here, and then these are my hacks below the function. Okay. On user leave room, I didn't change that at all. This is a Smartfox function for a handler, event handler, when the user leaves the room. I didn't change that at all. And because what's going to happen is it's going to destroy the avatar here. It's going to remove the avatar from the screen, and when it does it, it'll also remove my pieces that are inside of there. Right? And then on this one, on user variable updates, this is an important one. I did some changes to this one, and we'll talk about that in the next movie.